To the Capitol, and Nancy Cordes will. Nancy, in a nutshell, what's the big headline out of the census this year?
Well, the big headline, Bob, the thing that everybody always wants to know is how many people live in the United States. And so drum roll, please. We have now been informed that exactly 308,745 and 308 million people now live in the U.S. How's that for botching the headline? But that's a growth of about 9.7% over the past 10 years. We have broken through the 300 million barrier, and back in 2000 we had about 280 million, so this is a big jump. But in the South and in the West, we were being told the jump is much, much bigger. South up 14% in population, the West up 14% in population. Compare that to the Midwest, the industrial heartland of this country, only up 4%, the Northeast just up 3%.
All right, well, let's talk about the political impact, because this is going to be more congressmen for some states, fewer congressmen for other states. Who's going to gain, who's going to lose here?
That's right. Well, this is going to have a big impact on congressional representation, and we're seeing a decades-long trend of seats being lost in the Northeast, lost in the Midwest, and gaining in the South and in the West. So what we learned today is that Texas is the big winner. It's going to gain 4 congressional seats. Florida is going to gain 2 seats, and then Arizona, Georgia, South Carolina, Utah, Washington, and Nevada will each gain an additional congressional district. But there are a host of states that are going to be losing seats. New York and Ohio will each lose 2 congressional seats. This was a big surprise for New York. They thought they might lose 1. They're surprised they're losing 2. And then there's another 8 states who are going to lose 1 congressional district as well. Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, and New Jersey. And Bob, that is a tough list to read on the same day that you've had 4 cavities filled. My mouth is still getting back in working order here.
But let's talk a little bit about Texas and Florida gaining seats. This is, I would have to take it, good news for Republicans, because I guess the population growth in Texas is going to be around areas now that are heavily Republican. So this is probably going to bode well for the Republican Party down there. I'm not as familiar with the situation in Florida, but how does that seem to break down?
Well, this is good news for Republicans, not just because of Texas, but also because they're picking up seats in other southern states that are Republican strongholds like Georgia and South Carolina. And, of course, the Northeast, which is a Democratic stronghold, is losing a bunch of seats. So this is fantastic news for Republicans, especially because they won in so many state houses across the country in the November elections. So they are going to be the ones who have the power to redraw those congressional maps, figure out where exactly they want to place that new seat so that it looks like a likely pickup for them.
And this is one of the reasons we talked about this on election night, when you saw these Republican gubernatorial pickups in the various states, because generally it is the governor of a state who sort of controls the state party machinery, and he will be the one that will be the driving force in the redrawing of a lot of these districts, which are generally done by the state legislatures. So tell me again now, how many people now live in the United States? I want to hear you say that headline again.
Okay, let's try it again. 308,745,538.
Wow. Give or take.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Whatever. Nancy Cordes playing in the starting lineup, even though she just had 4 cavities filled. Thank you very much. It's
Thanks,
great
Bob.
to have you this morning,
Sure
Nancy.
Thing.